Hey, what's going on, people? Tony here with my spoiler-free review of Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. Now, I was originally going to do both a written review and a video review, but I ain't got that kind of time. So I'm just going to do a video review and stuff. I took some notes here, so don't mind if I look at my phone here. And I don't know, I may throw some images in here or whatever, but again, I'm just trying to get this out the door fast. I saw the movie last night. Actually, at the time of this recording, it's Wednesday night now. Thursday night, actually. So I saw it on Tuesday night. I was about to do my review at that point, but I'm like, you know what, since I'm going to see it again on Wednesday, let me hold off. Maybe I'm going to change my mind about the movie. I didn't. My opinions stay the same. So, let's get into it. So basically, as we all know, Marvel has done a really, really great job setting up their universe. They've been doing it since 2008. Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, Thor, all those. We eventually got Avengers. So, and they've obviously been very, very, very successful at this, right? So it's not surprising that DC wanted to do the same thing. Now, they tried to establish their own universe with Green Lantern. That didn't go anywhere. The movie was trash, right? Then they restarted everything with Man of Steel. Man of Steel, I know some people out there don't like the movie. I did. I actually really enjoyed the Man of Steel. It gave me the kind of Superman fight I've always wanted to see since I was a kid. So in that aspect, I really like the Man of Steel. I'm not saying it's perfect. There was some problems I had with it, namely the fact that Superman didn't take the fight out of the city. He kept it in Metropolis and destroyed half of it. And as we learned in this movie, a lot of people died. So, that bothered me, man. So, but overall, it was a good film. And that was the start of DC's cinematic universe, right? So, Batman vs. Superman is basically, in some respects, Man of Steel 2. Or at least that's the movie it was supposed to be. And then it got turned into Batman Superman. Why? Because DC wanted to force they wanted to force, their movie continuity and stuff, right? So this movie right here, Batman Superman, is just jam-packed with a bunch of setting up for the Justice League movie, right? That's just one of the problems I had with the movie. So yeah, they wanted to get, some of that pie. And I will say this right now, even though I didn't hate this movie, as some of my friends did, the movie is deeply flawed. And it is, I know they're not going to reset the universe, right? They're going to keep things going upon this trajectory. But man, it is, they failed, to really like knock it out of the park. They really, to use a baseball reference, they really failed in that respect. It's like, it's kind of a shame because, again, I love Man of Steel. Superman is my favorite character, right? I want to see, not only do I want to see DC succeed, right? I just want comic book movies in general to succeed because ever since Marvel Studios came on the scene, we've had a pretty good run with comic movies. There's been a couple stinkers out there, namely the Amazing Spider-Man movies. But for the most part, we haven't had really, really shitty comic book movies like we had in the middle 2000s. I'm talking about X-Men 3, Blade 3, Spider-Man 3, Elektra, Daredevil, like stinkers, right? We haven't had anything like that. But Batman versus Superman kind of came close, man. But the thing is, it's still better than those movies. It's still better than a direct Spider-Man 3. But man, like it hurts. So just to break it down and stuff for you guys who may not know, the story of this movie takes place 18 months after the last movie, right? The world is still kind of accepting Superman, and a lot of them just see him as the savior, right? Batman, on the other hand, who gets introduced in this movie, and yes, we have to see his parents get killed again for the millionth time. So Batman gets introduced, and right from the outset, by the way, people, I'm not going to say anything that hasn't already been shown in the trailers. So I'm not spoiling anything. If it's been shown in the trailers, I'm free to talk about it. So we see Batman in Metropolis during the big fight Superman was having with Zod and stuff, with the World Machine, all that craziness, right? So, it gives you like a motivation for why Batman is doing this, why he wants to take down Superman. He sees this guy as a threat, right? The other people that see Superman as a threat, aside from some senators, is Lex Luthor, who gets introduced into this movie too. Jesse Eisenberg is playing him. All those fears I had about Eisenberg playing Lex Luthor, man, like, it was a little, okay, it wasn't as bad as I feared, but it was pretty bad. His whole motivation is he wants to bring down Superman because he sees him as this god or whatever, right? But motivation kind of muddy, and that was one of the problems I had with this movie, the character motivations, but I'll get to that. I'm gonna get right into it. This movie, I mean, if you didn't like Man of Steel's tone, the whole seriousness, the dourness, all that stuff, you're not gonna like this. This movie is like deadly serious. Like, it's serious to the point where it's comical. It's like, can we get some levity here? I'm not asking for Marvel type levity where it's like jokes every couple minutes. I'm not asking for that, but a little something. You can't just have it like just be so grim and morose the entire time, you know? I mean, look at Daredevil, for example, on Netflix, right? That's a really dark show. It's very serious, but at the same time, it has some levity to it. This movie didn't have any of that. It was just like depressing, dude. Like really, really depressing. Like once the end of the movie, you're not like cheering or anything. The whole time you're just like, oh, this is... Like, you know, you don't feel that. Come on, you're seeing a movie literally called Batman versus Superman. You want to be there cheering for your guy, you know, whichever respective guy that may be. You want to be cheering for your dude, but you're just like, I don't know, man. So the whole tone was just really grim. And, you know, I know DC is trying to, you know, like they want it to be like the Nolan movies, but even the Nolan movies, man, they even had some levity to them too, you know? It's like, this is almost like a caricature of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't understand why they had to get so grim and gritty with it, you know? And yes, I am looking at some notes here. So, again, let's talk about character motivation. Aside from Batman, I didn't understand any of the characters' motivations. Lex Luthor, he, you know, it's like, okay, I want to kill Superman because he's an alien. But can we get a little bit more than that? You know, Superman himself, again, you know, at the end of Man of Steel, it seemed like he was confident with himself. Like in that movie, he was kind of like unsure of his role with humanity, what he should do. And by the end of it, it looked like he accepted his role as Superman, you know, Earth's savior, right? And then here, it's like none of that character development happened. He's just like unsure about his role and stuff because people, you know, are questioning him. It's like, dude, you're Superman. Have some confidence in yourself, bro. You're helping people out. Screw the haters, you know? So it was just weird to see Superman be so wishy-washy in that respect, you know? But then, you know, we have Wonder Woman again. I'm not spoiling anything. You've seen her in the trailers. Her motivation doesn't really extend much more than, hey, I'm Wonder Woman. I'm going to go help save the day, and I want to get into a fight. You know? But yeah, very, very muddy character, you know, characterizations. I didn't feel the, you know, the writing was up to snuff in this movie. Like, I know David Goyer, he wrote a lot of the Nolan films, but I'm pretty sure he just wrote the outline. I'm pretty sure Chris Nolan and his brother wrote the actual dialogue. Because some of the dialogue in this movie, kind of clunky. People, it's like, man, not good there. And you know, before I saw this movie, right, my fear was that it was forced, right? You know, DC is trying to force this DC universe. I don't even know what they're going to call their cinematic universe, like the DCCU, you know, DC cinematic universe. I don't know what they're going to. So anyway, so it felt forced. You know, I was so afraid it was going to feel forced, and it was forced, man. Like they had all this set up, right, for Justice League, you know, the first Justice League movie, and you easily could have excised all of that stuff from this movie. And I mean, I'm not gonna say the whole movie would you know, work as a slot count, but for the story it was telling, you could have taken out all that Justice League setup, and it would have been fine. And again, I'm not spoiling anything. You all know this is a setup movie, right? It's a hard review because I really wanted to like this movie. So yeah, all that setup, it just felt very forced. It wasn't like, you know, if you've seen Age of Ultron, right? Beautiful the way they did the setup, right? Not only did they reference the old movies, but they also referenced the upcoming movies in such a seamless way that it didn't feel ham-fisted, right? In this one, it was like ham-fisted. It's like, okay, let's stop the whole movie right now so we can set up another movie that has nothing to do with this one. So it's like, come on, man, really? So I didn't like that. Basically, I was afraid it was going to feel forced, and it totally did. But, you know, one thing I did like about the movie, and this is the reason I can't completely, you know, hate on it, the fighting. The fighting was great. Like, the whole thing with Batman versus Superman, that paid off. Like, that was a really well done fight. I mean, Zack Snyder, I know he gets a lot of guff and stuff, but to me, I actually like him as a director. I love his style, you know, the slow motion. Like, it makes it feel like a comic book. Like, you know, those moments where, you know, things slow down and you kind of get like a little bit of time to think about the actions going on in between scenes and stuff, right? I like his directing. I even like the cinematography, as dark as it was. To me, it was pleasing to my eyes. But yeah, but the fighting was great. The final fight, again, I'm not spoiling anything. You saw in the trailer, the final fight between Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman against Doomsday was really well done. I enjoyed that a lot of craziness in that one. And then my favorite one, even though they didn't last very long, Batman beating the shit out of like 12 thugs. I'm like, yes, this is the Batman. We will, just like Zack Snyder give us, a version of Superman. Basically he delivered a Superman fight we've always wanted, right? We got that with Batman because the Chris Nolan movies, as great as they were, those Batman fights were not good. It was very quick cuts and stuff. You didn't really see what's going on. This one, you got to see every single thing. Batman just fucking these dudes up. Great stuff. Again, the action scenes were fantastic. I just wish the rest of the movie was as great as the fighting, but yeah. But if you go into this movie just wanting really kick-ass fights, you'll be pretty pleased with that because that was pretty good. The directing during those scenes was great. I think I already pretty much covered all the characters. Batman, okay, my fear was Ben Affleck was going to ruin Batman, right? Because I saw him as Daredevil and he fucked that up. But he did a really good job as Batman. Like Bruce Wayne Batman, he did a really good job. Except for one thing. I'm not going to spoil it here. This I can't spoil. But he does something that Batman is not supposed to do. And he does it consistently. That threw me off completely. Basically, any good that he brought to that character, and I'm talking about the way he acts, the way, his methodology and stuff, all that was very Batman-ish. But this one thing, I was like, no, I cannot forgive that. And no true comic book fan can forgive this either. This transgression, and I'm calling it that. Again, you'll see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. But Batman, he steps a line. It's like, no. Superman, there's a reason he's second billing in this. He barely gets any screen time. Like, aside from fighting and stuff, Superman is barely in the movie, and it's sad because I wanted Man of Steel too. I loved the first movie. I wanted the second Man of Steel. I didn't want this movie. I wanted another Man of Steel, but he kind of gets second billing and stuff. Wonder Woman was really good. It's talking about positives, right? Wonder Woman was great. I loved the way they set her up and stuff. Her fighting was really good. I liked how again, you could just tell she enjoys fighting the way Wonder Woman's supposed to. That was really good. And then what's her face? Lois Lane. She was a little bit more useful in this movie than she was in Man of Steel, but she could have had a little bit more. Again, Lex Luthor, I didn't like the way he was. It's like, come on, can't you just give us the real Lex Luthor instead of this punk ass kid? I didn't like that, and all the other characters, they just seemed very like surface level. There wasn't really any depth to them, But that's pretty much all I need to say. Again, because I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, I still predict this movie's going to do very, very well. It's going to make, maybe $1 billion just because Batman versus Superman, right? It's going to do really well. But I feel it's going to be one of those Transformer situations, right? Where Transformers are critically panned, but they make a shit ton of money and people keep watching them. It's going to be the same deal here. But, I hope that DC lightens things up. It's like Suicide Squad that has the perfect potential to be a really fun movie. Please bring that. You can't just have all these depressing ass movies, It's like, again, I'm not asking for, like a joke every 5 seconds, but you got to give us a little levity, man, just to make the serious stuff even, have more of an impact, right? Because if it's just serious all the time, it just becomes like a numbing effect, right? So you don't want that. But yeah, Batman Superman, yeah, I wish this was like Deadpool, right? Where I just love the shit out of it. This one, not so much. I mean, this video is longer than Deadpool one because this, it's easier to talk about, bad movies than it is good ones. But, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm just glad Civil War is around the corner to kind of wash the taste out of people's mouths and stuff. And again, I'm not saying this as a hater. Superman's my favorite character. I wanted this movie to be good, but all those fears I had, man, they all came true, man. Anyway, I'm Tony from the Koalition. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to hit like on it. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. We got a lot of good content for you guys, so please support us any way you can. So that is it. Let me know what you think of Batman versus Superman when you see it. Please let me know. I'll see you guys around later.